Today we're going to show you how to change the seals in a single vane turn-act rotary actuator, which is either a 270-degree rotation or 180-degree rotation. And you loosen the bolts. I've already loosened the bolts for time and safety, and you take them out, set them aside. You're going to take the end cap off, set it aside, and then you want to take your rotor and tube assembly out. Set it aside, then you'll take your other end cap out. What you want to do is disassemble your tube and your rotor assembly. Just pull them apart. What we're going to do is going to use a pick to remove the seals. What you want to do is grab them and just take them out and get them, throw them away. Sometimes they're a little tough to get out, so you have to use a pick. Then on the end caps, we're going to remove the tube seal, which is on the outer edge here. We're going to remove the quad ring. Then the shaft seal is on the outside here, so we're going to take it out. We'll do the same thing on the other end cap. Remove your tube seal, the quad ring, and your shaft seal. Now what you're also going to do is you're also going to wipe these parts down to make sure you get all the old grease and dirt off of them. So you'll want to wipe off your end caps, get all the grease you can out of the grooves, get you a clean surface to work with. Do the same thing with the tube and the rotor. You want to wipe off the radius all the way around, the groove, and your ends, the ends of your rotor. Make sure you have a clean work surface. In the tube, you'll do the same thing. You wipe out any old grease you can. So you have a clean work surface. On the ends of your rotor, you're going to have these Delrin spacers that you want to take off and make sure you get out of the way. Change those out because they come in your kit. Now, when you got everything clean and you're ready to reassemble, what you want to do is start with your stator seals, which are these specially molded urethane seals. You want to press it in the end, press the other end in, seat them. Make sure they're sitting in their groove real well. Do the same thing with the tube. What you do, you'll stick it through, press the end down, press the other end down, and then seat them. Make sure it's seated real well in that groove. On your end caps, we're going to do the tube O-ring first. Then you got a urethane quad ring that has holes on one side. And you want to make sure you put those holes up. In other words, they go inside the unit. So you'll put it in, press it down the best you can, and it's going to have air trapped underneath of it. So what you want to do is use a pick or a sharp object to go down beside the seal and then just push the air out the best you can. Again, holes up, press it down in the groove. Use your sharp object or pick to get the air out from underneath it the best you can. Then we're going to go with our rod seal that goes on the back side in the groove. Now the trick on a single vane rotor when you're reassembling it is to put the rotor in a vise so that you can hold on to it and then put the tube on it. So what you want to do is let's grease our rotor first. Grease the seal, grease the radius. Then you're going to get some grease for your tube. You're going to grease the seal and then the inside of the tube. You don't have to use a lot. Doesn't take a lot to get it greased. And you want to put your rotor in the vise to hold on to it. You want to use some cloth to protect the shaft so you don't dent the shaft. Then you want to take your tube, and you see the stator seal here and the seal here. You want to put them opposite each other. You want to cock it, put it on there, and then turn it. And what you want to do is you make sure that's centered on there. And what you want to make sure is your seals, each seal is sticking, the rotor seal sticking over the tube, and the stator seal sticking over the end of the rotor. Pull it out gently. Make sure your seals are sticking over like these are. Then you want to put your Delrin washers back on, your new ones. Slip them over the shaft all the way to the end of the rotor on both sides. Then you want to get a little more grease. And you want to grease the seals in the end of the rotor. Put a little grease on the end of the rotor there just to make sure you have some lubrication. Same thing on the other end. Put your grease on the end of the rotor. Then we'll do our end caps, a little grease on the backside for that seal. Then we'll grease our face. The important thing when you're doing the end caps is to make sure you get grease on that quad ring and fill those holes the best you can in the quad ring. Then you'll smear some around the face like that. Grease your face. And you're ready to reassemble the unit. So what you do is you'll take your one end cap, you put it in the vise, you stick your rotor assembly and tube in like this, gently push it down, then you want to put your other end cap on. And you take your bolts and you start to reassemble the unit. You'll need an Allen wrench or a hex wrench to do this. And you'll want to not tighten any one bolt first. You want to start taking them down in a pattern cross corner. Now on single vane it's a little trickier. Once you get it to start tightening down, you want to make sure you're not pinching the tube between the head and the other head. So we'll have to make sure that as you're tightening down, that your gaps on the sides here are even. And if you feel any resistance at any point, you want to make sure you stop and back off. So as you start to go down and you feel any resistance, you want to make sure you back off and tap the side of your tube to get it to seat. Then as you get everything hand tight, we recommend a certain torque for each of these bolts, and that will come in the kit you receive so that you torque them properly to the right torque spec. And that's how you change the seals in a single vane turnout.